Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Verizon Mobile Lifestyle Chat. This is the VZWBuzz continuation. We're going to recap some of the apps we discussed today. I know Robin is what she calls herself an appaholic, but one of the most wonderful things that Robin does is she actually helps us curate a lot of the best apps for all operating systems. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. I am thrilled, however, to welcome Jessica Bishop. She is at Savvy Bride on Twitter. Welcome, Jessica.
Hey, Monica. Thanks so much for having me.
I know that we've been trying to get you on this show for a while, that you're a big traveler. You've been away and very busy, but I think it's perfect that you're here because your blog is a lot about bride resources. And of course, this is June. So tell us a little bit about your blog and what do you talk about normally?
Sure. So my blog is called The Budget Savvy Bride, and I started it in 2008 when I first became engaged and I was planning my own budget wedding. There wasn't a whole lot of resources out there for brides who didn't have a lot of money to spend. And so I just kind of started collecting resources for my own personal use and to keep records and ideas. And here I am 7 years later, and my blog is now my full-time job, and I share resources and tips and DIY projects and printables and all sorts of great things to help brides and grooms save money on different aspects of their wedding day.
Yeah, it's so cool because often with the emotion of that event, you don't really think about all of the areas that you can be saving, right? You think, or you may be saving in the wrong areas. I'm sure that has happened before.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I think everybody has different priorities when it comes to their wedding. And so, I just kind of try to help couples navigate, those things and show them where they can save money. So.
Yeah, one of the things that you learn, I think, as a bride is that you don't want to save in the photography.
I agree. That's something I always say. Like, that was definitely my biggest priority and my husband's too. And we wanted to have beautiful photos to remember that day because at the end, like, that's all you have left. So
that's what you have. Yeah, you have that memory in your mind and then whatever you manage to capture. And definitely a good idea.
Photographer is definitely worth a splurge, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought so too. Before I forget, we're going to give away the Sony Xperia Z3V, and this smartphone is really pretty cool. I actually have to admit, I was like taking a peek inside the box. It's waterproof. You can actually take pictures underwater, and unlike prior phones we've given away, of this particular model is actually black. So this comes in white and black, and I love this phone. So somebody's going to win this today at the end of the recap in the next 10 minutes or so. So stay tuned. We actually want to hear some questions from you. We want to know how you actually find your apps and post those tweets. And especially if you, if you have any one of those hidden app gems that you'd like to share with us. And so on that note, Jessica, I would love to ask you, so you're not the traditional sort of social apps, but what are really your go-to favorite apps? Doesn't matter if it's photography, productivity. What are your top apps?
One thing that I really cannot live without is Evernote. I love it because it syncs with my phone, my tablet, my computer, and I can keep up with, anything I need, whether it's like from the blog or even a shopping list, or, I have a note in my Evernote of all the different dimensions for like the windows in my apartment when I'm like shopping for curtains and things like that. So it's just really great to be able to access that info on the go. And so I love Evernote for that.
Evernote is great. Yeah, it's really, really good.
I am obsessed with it, and I don't know how I ever lived without it. And I would say the same thing for Dropbox. I use it constantly when I'm, wanting to share images from my blog onto like my social media accounts. I didn't take them with my phone, but because I can access them through my Dropbox, I can get them to Instagram to post and share that way. So that's another one that I personally can't live without. So
what's so clever about Dropbox is that you can have the app and access everything that you have there. But to forward something, if you need something that's on your own Dropbox, you can just cut and paste the link. You don't actually have to send a photo or a file. You can actually just send a link to that particular file that's there. They won't have access to your entire Dropbox, but just to that one thing you want to share. I
Right.
find that so smart.
It's so great too for email attachments, because then you're not sending this huge, large file that's going to clog up your,
Yeah.
storage space on your email. So I love that for that reason as well.
Yeah. In the Mac OS, you can also use, instead of Evernote, although it's great, you can also use Notes. And that has a similar ability to connect, obviously, across devices. So if you start writing something somewhere, you can find it in another device. So all of those are so smart and really, really super useful. But Evernote is one of those that, everybody just loves. I know I've used it across all devices too. Tell me a little bit about, because photography is so important and I know you travel so much, I wanted to ask you about those two categories.
Oh, sure.
Your photography apps, if you use filters, presumably, obviously Instagram, but anything else that you use for editing, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so obsessed with photo editing apps that I have an entire folder on my iPhone. I don't know if you can see it, but I have put all of my photo editing apps into one folder, and I actually have 3 full pages of photo editing apps. It's a little ridiculous. My favorite go-to right now is Photoshop Express, and I think the actual app, like when you search for it, is PS Express. I work a lot in Photoshop for my blog on the computer, and so it just was like really easy for me to pick up, but I think it's pretty user friendly for even like, an amateur novice. I really love that for photo editing. And another one that I like is Pick Tap Go. That's
okay.
another. Yeah, it's real cute. I like it. And
how do you spell that one?
Pick Tap Go. It's PICTAPGO.
Oh,
So,
pick,
like,
tap,
pick,
and go.
tap,
Got it.
and go. Yeah.
Smart.
So actually, when you are in the app, you choose your photo, and then it has, icons of all different kind of filters, and you tap the filter you want, and it applies it, and you can add multiples. And then when you're ready to export it, you click go, and so it's pick, tap, go. It's
very nice.
It's very simple. So those are my favorite photo editing ones. And then you said for travel.
Mm-hmm.
I love, I use this one called Trip List, and it's a packing trip list maker. And so it has kind of preset, lists of things you might want to pack for a vacation. So that's really helpful for me because I'm always worried that I'm going to forget something. And so it's come in handy like a lot, especially with, the long out of the country, sort of trips that I've gone on. So I love that.
And raise your hand if you haven't forgotten something when you travel and you wanted to take it with you.
I get such anxiety about forgetting something. So having that like makes me feel a little bit better when I'm like heading out the door.
Yeah. So that's called Trip Lists?
Yes, Trip List.
Trip Lists, yes. Okay. What about like for security, so what helps you stay safe when you travel or just even around the town? You live in the city. So what are some of the things that you say, here's some of the apps that I would consider, are great safety apps, if any, if you think you need any?
I mean, I honestly don't think I have anything specifically for safety, but I definitely, especially when I'm going out at night, if I'm by myself here in New York City, I always use, just standard Google Maps to find like the easiest route home so that I'm not out on the street trying to figure it out in public where I might be like more likely to be approached by somebody. I try to do that kind of thing before I leave to head out. So that's just kind of something that I've learned to do over time. And then, if it's really late at night, I'll use the Uber app or the Lyft app to call a car to come straight to me, and not, just bypass the whole subway thing.
Yeah, that's actually in that category, and that's why I kind of wanted to touch on it because we don't think of them as safety or, apps that help us stay safe. But I recently was giving my own mom sort of this session on what apps would be great for her. And then I thought, well, these would be great for my 15-year-old daughter as well, right? Things that like Uber, you're not going to be calling Uber all the time, but whenever you need an Uber and be safe, certainly your maps, know how to use the lamp, right? The flashlight app.
Yeah.
I find that so useful. Fumbling for your car keys, things like that. We'd love to hear from all of you what you think would be, is one of those apps that helps you feel and stay safe. I'm sure Robin can think of some. So if you can post some, Robin, that would be great. Tell me just a little bit too, in terms of just in general productivity, what are some of the ones? It sounds like you're so incredibly organized. I would love to know how you stay organized.
It's really funny. I organize all of my apps on my phone. Everything's in a folder except for the ones that I use most often, like Instagram or Twitter, or the camera is like very easily accessible just by the icon. But in terms of apps that I use for organization, I actually downloaded a separate calendar app rather than the one that's, included in my iPhone software. It's just called Calendars, but for some reason it just syncs really well, and it gives me like a better overview of my week, and I can see more things rather than just the little dots that show up on the regular standard calendar. So I like that a lot for staying organized. And then I also use Wunderlist to kind of keep track of my to-do list, and just kind of checking those things off rather than, having it on a piece of paper on my desk, because it's great that it's with me on the go.
Yeah, Wunderlist is also one of those apps that allows you to collaborate. So if you're doing a project with someone else and, say it's a designer or somebody who's helping you on a project, you put stuff on Wunderlist together, right? And then you check off the list as he or she gets done with something. And then when you get done with something, it's something you can also share.
Yeah, I love that. And it's definitely helped me with like my contributors on my blog too. So, or like my husband and I have a shared list in Wunderlist for like grocery items. So I'll add things because he's out and about in the car a lot. And so I'll add things for the grocery list and he can pick them up while he's out and check them off.
Oh my gosh. And you have them so well trained. Is there an app for that?
It's taken time to get there, but yeah.
Yeah. It's like, so many guys are like, oh man, she needs milk and she found me. Yeah. So Wunderlist, I have to actually learn to use that. I just started using that recently. And I really wanted to give it a shot. For productivity, I've used Fantastical. I don't know if you've ever used that. What I like about Fantastical is that you don't have to, how you have to find the date, you have to find the time, you got to do a bunch of things. In Fantastical, you just say, call Robin Thursday at 9:00, phone number, and it just puts it all in the right place and organizes it on the time. It's so easy.
Wow, that's awesome. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, because
so
sometimes
like Fantastical, like
Fantastical. Yeah, okay. Fantastical. Yeah. And it's on iOS for sure. But I love that because oftentimes, they'll say, call me next Thursday, and I won't be looking necessarily at the date. And so this way, you just kind of enter it and go, Monday, doctor, 10:00. And then it just puts it in the right place and sends you the reminders as you need them. So I really do love that.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then it's not free. Fantastical is one of those you have to pay for. But I found it so worthwhile, just time saver, because you enter it so quickly and you move on because it's usually on the right. It's always on the right.
There's very few apps that like I will pay money for, but some of them are totally worth it.
Yeah, give me some examples, the ones you pay money for.
Well, there's a new one that just came out that I haven't downloaded yet, but I am considering. It's another kind of calendar app from Emily Lay. She's a designer and she has this beautiful planner called the Simplified Planner. And so she's built an app to go along with her printed planner that you can buy.
Oh, cool.
And it looks just like beautiful and very user friendly. So that one's on my list, and it's $4.99. But to me, I think user experience and design is something that I appreciate so much, which is why, I bought the premium version of the other calendar app that I use. And so I'm always on the lookout for something better, that makes my life easier. So that's one. And then there's been several photo editing apps that I've paid for. So
yeah, photo. Yeah, give me one of those paid apps that you use for photo editing.
I'm trying to think. I think I think Pick Up Go might be paid
Oh, pick
now.
that. Oh, yeah, it's possible.
When
Yeah.
it started, I think it was free for a limited time, but I think it might be paid now. Another one is Camera Plus.
Oh, right. I do know that. Mm-hmm.
I did one, Flipagram, where you can make, like almost like a video of just photos. I paid for like a premium version of that.
Oh, like
And
Animoto.
yeah,
Mhm.
I think so.
Oh,
And then I downloaded one, it's called Waterlog, and it takes any photo and turns it into a watercolor. It like draws it. It's really cool to watch. I get kind of obsessed with putting new
those
photos
are
in
awesome.
and seeing how it comes to life as a watercolor. I don't have that skill personally, so I just think it's really fun to watch it. And I think it was maybe like $1.99. And I've used it a few times on like different Instagram photos and stuff. It's really fun.
Yeah. How
Um,
cool. How cool.
yeah. I,
Now, do you like to play games, or maybe have you ever used an app to learn a language, to learn something? Any sort of learning apps?
Yeah, well, I said this in the Twitter chat before this. I deleted pretty much all the games off of my phone because I work from home, I run my own business, and I was getting really, really distracted by Candy Crush. So I had to go to like Candy Crush rehab and like cold turkey, like cut it off my phone because it was a problem for a while. And my whole family was playing it. We were all asking each other, like texting, like, send me a ticket so I can get to the next level. I was like, this is crazy, I have to stop. So probably about a year and a half ago, I took pretty much all of the gaming apps off my phone, but I did download Duolingo, which is like a gamified language learning app. And that I feel at least like I'm doing something productive when I'm playing that. And it is fun. It's really fun and interactive. And I've been teaching myself little bits of Spanish like over
Duolingo. I'm going to try that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's so cute. It's got like a little, like the app is like a little parrot. I don't know if you can see the little Duolingo. He's so cute.
Very cute.
And he does there's so many different languages you can learn with it. So it's really fun.
Yeah, that's actually great. If you speak or you ever learned or even just studied another language, apps and listening to that language's music is going to help awaken what you learned. So, if you were fluent in German and you haven't spoken German in 10 years, an app isn't going to help you be fluent again, but it'll start awakening that part of your brain that stored that information, and you'll start, oh yeah, that's how you say this, and all of a sudden you're just going to be on your way. That's also listening to music is a very useful one for that.
I think it's kind of like working out, like strengthening your muscle. Like the more you do it, even if it's just for 5 minutes a day, I find myself being able to pick up on things more now that I use it. So.
Yeah, and Spanish is so important in this country. I mean, I think I use it every day,
Yeah, I would love to be able to speak it fluently. I took it in high school and college, and I know the basics, the colors, the numbers, a few like phrases that I would need in a pinch, but I need to do it more often so I can get better at it. So.
Yeah, languages are one of those things that you'll never regret learning, even if it's a little bit. Even if you don't, say you're going to France and you just want to, hear it, practice a couple of words, because communication is only 10% verbal. So think about that. If you understand the meaning of what someone's trying to say, and then you also know a few words and maybe some sentences, chances are you're going to know exactly what someone's trying to communicate with you. And so it's, even if you are not going to speak it fluently and stand up and present on a different language, even just a little bit is really going to be so helpful to have you improve and have a more fun experience, I think, when you're more aware of what's going on.
For sure. Yeah, I can't wait to go back to Mexico and use some of my skills that I've been learning over the last few months.
You need to do that. Absolutely. Well, this has been so great. The last category before we go, I know it's gone a little bit later, is tell me about any augmented reality apps. Do you use any of those?
Augmented reality?
Yeah,
like, what do you mean?
So some of the augmented reality apps basically means, for example, and I'm sure you've seen this, is we have a stargazing app, and what you do is you point it towards the sun, the sky at night, and it tells you the constellations that you're looking at.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So augmented reality for languages too. So if you're traveling, which is useful in places with really foreign languages to yours. For example, I was in Japan, and again, you can use your smartphone to look at a sign, and it'll tell you what that sign means.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah,
so cool.
yeah. We'll have to get you into augmented reality.
Is there a category in the App Store for that? Because I feel like I need to go peruse.
You should definitely peruse all of the app stores, but just Google augmented reality for astronomy, and augmented reality for tourism, or augmented reality for education. In fact, Edutopia has a lot of augmented reality apps. So they are so fun, and they work on all kinds of OSs. So if you're on a Windows phone, if you're on an Android phone or iOS, check out augmented reality apps. They're fascinating. And also they're one of those things that you want to use with your kids to show them how cool you are too. It's really important to be cool.
I'm going to add this to my wonder list. So.
Yes, absolutely. Put it on the wonder list. Jessica, it's been great. Thank you so very much for joining us. Can you remind us again the name of your blog so people know where to find you?
Sure. It's called thebudgetsavvybride.com, and I'm everywhere: Pinterest, Instagram, Twitter, all the places. So come find me and say hi.
Savvybride.com? No.
Thebudgetsavvybride.com.
The budget with the THE, right?
Yes.
Thebudgetsavvybride.com. And check it out. And if you know someone who's getting married, or someone who's planning a wedding, either soon or a year from now or in the fall, make sure you refer them to this blog. She really is incredible. Took us months and months to pin her down for this interview. I'm so grateful that you could do it.
I actually am.
And the winner of this Sony Xperia C3, this phone, this particular one, is going to use Motherhood 24/7, 24/7. Congratulations. We're going to post the name on Twitter, and we'll see you again next week. Marty, are we on next week, or is that the week we're taking a little hiatus? Can't remember. Check the schedule. Check the schedule. I think we're going to be giving you a whole new schedule about the video recaps, and hopefully we can get Jessica back too, again, at Savvy Bride on Twitter. Thanks so much for joining us, and everyone have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Bye.